Hello everybody, I'm Yvette of DIY Uniquely Yvette. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. We are making something cool, we're making something creative, we're making something weird. But I think you're going to like it. If nothing else, it will inspire you to do something similar. It may get the creative juices flowing. I hope it does. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, give me a comment below, and let's get into it. This is going to be a very simple project that I hope works out, because I ended up, I didn't have a big enough piece for this project, so I glued some boards together. They don't feel as strong as I'd like them to, so I'm not sure this glued together board will survive in the scroll saw, but we're going to give it a try. If it doesn't work, I'll get a bigger, or I'll get a piece of board that's all together. So I'm going to use the carbon paper and put this design on here. It's a little giraffe head with like this kind of funky body shape. And this is going to be sort of like a serving tray here with just a handle kind of thing. I mean, it's a little big, but I actually didn't want to make these small parts so small that they break off. So it's going to be a giant serving tray. Ordinarily, you wouldn't want to use pine wood with something like this, but I'm going to try to trace this on here, and then we'll move on to the next step. So what I want to do is cut this inner section of the project lower, sort of making it like a very shallow bowl. I need to do that with the router. But if I just use the router in here, at some point, there's going to be all this part that's lower, and it's going to tip and make gouges in the wood. So I got this scrap piece of plywood, and I cut out this rectangle in here. I made the plywood wider than the project itself. And I'm hoping that it'll work to brace the router as I route out the different parts. See, now I gotta be careful that I don't go too far and I stay within this rectangle. So I'll have to move a rectangle along with me as I go around the project. So I just have to be careful not to go too far and dip this way or that way and stay within there. I probably could have made it a little more narrow and really just kept with it. But I just have to try to be careful. Okay, this is very difficult to show you and do at the same time. And I have such a huge area. I'm going to go ahead and finish it and then come back after I finish routing out the inside. Trying to get this all cleared out is just way more trouble, time, and pain than I can bear. So I started using my sander to just try to smooth out and all these rough, ugly parts. And this is the result of me smoothing it a lot more with the sander. So I'm going to keep working on that and seeing if I can just do a better job. I find that I just don't like routing. I know there's probably a better process, but I don't know it. So if you know it, please comment below. What's better than trying to route out this middle with a very shallow, indentation? What's a better tool to do that than this router? Because this router just takes too long. I even changed out the bit to a thicker one instead of the tiny little one I started out with, and it's still just taking so long and having to readjust. So I'm just going to sand it like crazy and see what happens with a 60 grit piece of sandpaper. I realized my sander was on a lower setting, so I cranked it all the way up to its highest setting, and then I sanded really aggressively in here. And then I took a piece of sandpaper and tried to soften the edges and clean that up. It's still a bit uneven in places, And it's still not perfect around the edges, but it's better, so I'm going to leave it at that. Now we're ready to drill holes for his eyes. I'm going to start with this 1/2-inch bit for the smaller eye. I'm not sure if my hole bit is big enough for the bigger eye, but we'll see. I'm using this 5/8 inch bit. Actually, 5/8 is only slightly bigger than 1/2 inch, so we'll see how it works out. So this is where we are so far, and now we're going to move to the scroll saw and cut the shape out. Smiling while you're cursing, I admit it's working. You're working. Don't care, you're crazy, it's perfect. Shaky and I'm slurring, 'cause I'm nervous. It's you. So here's what we have going. We have it all cut out. But this neck is somewhat weak. I can bend it. I don't like that. And it's because I put this wood together in strips. I know people make cutting boards out of several different pieces of wood that they glue together, and it's obviously strong. So I don't know what happened with my neck here, but to reinforce it, I'm going to put a piece of plywood, thin plywood, 1/4 inch thick plywood on the back of it. I'm going to do it across the whole thing, so I've outlined it here. And I'm going to cut it out and just glue it all on here on the back and see if that will help stabilize this neck. But if you were to make something like this, I would suggest, if for some reason you couldn't get this neck tight, then you just use one sheet of wood to make the project. So anyway, let me cut this out. I'm going to glue the plywood onto the back. And when the glue is dry, I'm going to sand everything, and then we'll move to the next step after I do all that. I don't know what you think. I think I got enough clamps on here. I'm determined for that to stick properly. Okay, here she is. My little giraffe is looking good. Again, it would have been 1,000,000 times better if I just used one solid piece of wood to cut this out. So I wouldn't have had to put the back on it to reinforce the neck, and it is stronger now. The next thing I want to do is actually torch the wood. And this is experimental for me because I've never done it before. I bought this Rav's gas burner micro torch. I got it from Amazon. I'll leave a link to it below. And we'll see if this will do what I want it to do for this piece. Let's move outside where it's a little safer to be burning this wood. Okay, y'all. What I want to do is scorch his head black, just to maybe here. And then I want to give him some scorch spots. I don't know how well that's going to work because I'm not sure about this bad boy. But let's give it a try. I think it's on. So scorch at his head. I really want it blacker than this a little bit. I don't want those lines at all. Thing's hot. I mean, I don't feel it hot in my hand. I'm just saying it is hot since it's catching this thing on fire. Let's get a little bit of his neck. Okay, now what I want to do is make spots on his body. Like that. I know that's weird because, you know, he's a giraffe, not some spotted creature. But I got this idea from somebody's project on Pinterest. Like I say always, that's where I get my ideas from. That looks cool. I love it. great. Okay, I think we're good here. Now I'm going to finish the sides. I'm going to finish the sides and making them black, but I think that's enough spots. That looks awesome. I love it. Look at this. Can you see it? I love it. I love it. It's so cool. This video does not do this guy any justice. It is really, really cute in real life. I had a hard time getting this size to scorch well, but that's okay. What was most important is his whole head to be black like that. So now what we're going to do is apply this walrus oil. It's for protecting the wood. See, it says cutting board oil. So we're going to apply this. It says to shake well, apply the oil, and then wait 12 to 24 hours to wipe off the excess. So that's what we're going to do. I'm a little concerned that the charcoal might smear, but I don't mind the wood turning darker than it is right now. And this oil is very messy. I'm going to stay down here first, just in case a lot of the charcoal comes off his head. I would like it darker. The example of the one I saw online, like this design, their wood was very dark, like it was stained. I don't know, does anyone know if you can stain wood and then still eat off the surface? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to finish oiling this down and then show you the finished results.